2, 3. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shekinah Lawrence, and I am faculty librarian and library chairperson at the Triton College Library. And today I want to talk about using the library for your research needs. I know that the general audience of this particular CTE course is going to be my colleagues that are faculty and adjunct professors. And so I wanted to spend some time to share with you all the ways that you can use your Triton College Library to support your classwork curriculum. And for today's session, we're going to look at a brief introduction to the library, librarians and library staff. Also, we'll look at a quick session of using our academic library's website so that you can know how to maneuver to find things that are useful for you. First of all, academic libraries. You guys probably already know this, but I always like to remind people that we are slightly different from the public library in that we serve educational institutions, of course, ours here, and our mission mirrors that of our institution. Academic libraries have an educational focus. They tend to focus on research. And fortunately for us, since we also serve the community, we have a really great selection of leisure reading and reading on different types of subjects that would not necessarily be useful for your course curriculums, but definitely useful for you and your students to have another place to find your recreational reading. Instructors and staff and students, of course, are our patrons, and we welcome you. And our library is organized by Library of Congress, which is ABC order. In a public library, those libraries are typically organized by Dewey Decimal, which is 1, 2, 3 order. As I mentioned before, our library supports our college, and the Triton College mission, as a refresher, is valuing the individual, educating, and serving the community. So when we are in the midst of curating materials for your classroom needs, as well as considering our students and community members, we try to remember who our individuals are, and we want to educate and serve as needed and necessary. We also think about that with our programming as well as our courses and classes. So a little bit of logistics about the Triton College Library. We are located in Building A on the Triton College campus, and our library hours are Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We do observe quiet hours from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and also from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. On Fridays, we are open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and we are closed on Saturday and Sunday. However, we are open all year round, and we're open 24/7 online. So the part about us being open all year round means that we are open even when class is not in session. So we do offer intersession hours between semesters, and we have abbreviated summer hours as well. So when you think about libraries, what's the first thing that comes to mind? More than likely, you're thinking about books, and that is what typically we think about when we think about libraries. However, consider thinking about your library in these ways. We are absolutely more than books, but we also have a really lush selection of electronic resources and other physical items that could be checked out, such as technology, calculators, and the like. Also, the library has a certain amount of currency that is needed in order to exchange goods for goods, but it's not money. You cannot spend money in the library. You are borrowing items, and of course we use the honor system, and you are able to return them when you're finished with them. But the currency that is most valuable to us is time. We look forward to helping you spend time in the library or helping you save time in the library. So we want to make sure that we create a space that's welcoming, as well as have information and resources that are useful to the community. Now, another question that most people ask or make an assumption is, who's a librarian? Many times when people come into a library, whether it be public or academic, the assumption is anybody who is behind the desk is a librarian. Well, that's not always true. In fact, at your Triton College Library, we have two distinct groups of staff that work at our library. One group is called our Library Services Team. What do? They can help you or your students by checking out materials, answering general directional questions, pulling and returning items, and then they also help with MFA, Blackboard, and email access support, as well as printing help. All you need is your Triton College ID, and you have access. Or if you're online, you just need access to your Triton College email with your password. The newest thing for our library services team is the addition of support staff that help students with MFA, Blackboard, and email support. I barely want to say it because I'm trying to make sure that the name goes away, but this was formerly known as the ETRC. The ETRC no longer exists on our campus. However, we were so happy to receive the staff of the ETRC into our own staff, which was our circulation staff at the time. And the two staffs are now combined and they go under the name Library Services. Library services are not librarians. Librarians do a little bit different work to help support you and your students. There are 6 of us on staff, 3 are faculty and 3 are reference, and we serve you in different ways. As an example, your library faculty do information literacy instruction, which includes general reference and research classes, and we customize the classes to fit your assignment. We will also come to your classroom, particularly if you are in a computer lab. We also do correct curriculum help for instructors. So we can source materials for your courses or for your research. We are really hoping to continuously champion open educational resources. And then we have a rich selection of course reserves. So when you choose and select a textbook for your class, we would love it if you share those textbooks with us, and we will purchase them so that they can be in our course reserves for your students. There's times when your students may not be able to afford their textbook right at the beginning of the semester or anytime through the semester. And if we have a copy of your textbook, then we are able to reserve that so that students can use it in the library and they can come and study. They can make copies of a couple of chapters. They can take notes. The only thing is they cannot leave the library with the course reserve because we want to make sure that it is there for students when they need it. I do have one asterisk when it comes to course reserves. If you have a class that uses inclusive access textbooks, which are e-textbooks that are built into your class, unfortunately, the library is not able to purchase inclusive access course books. The reason for that is the publishers use a license that is single use. So if we were to purchase it and then we checked it out to multiple students, we would be in violation of copyright. So the classes that use inclusive access, we are unable to purchase those books. We also do reference help for students. We create and source relevant resource guides, and we create reading lists, as well as programming and outreach. Now, let's do a deeper dive into what can the library do for you. First, in supporting the mission of Triton College, our goal is to help students understand and master the practice of obtaining credible information while providing a third space for educational and recreational needs. If you want to see a really fun place, come to the library around 10:30 on a Monday or a Wednesday, and it's packed with students. Students studying, students on the computer, students printing, And we also host many things on the floor that they can enjoy, like puzzles, chess, checkers, and they are also welcome to check out board games as well. So we create a third space, and if you're not familiar, a third space is a term that's not really new, but it came popular in the 2020s, saying where's a space that people can go that is outside of the home, that is not a place where they consume goods or have to work, but they can be and enjoy. And so we consider ourselves and pride ourselves on being a third space for you as faculty and staff, as well as students and the community. Now, what is information literacy? This is the backbone of what and how we support faculty and instructors at Triton College. The Association of College and Research Libraries defines information literacy as the ability to recognize the need for information, be able to locate information and evaluate information, and to be able to use that information effectively. In my information literacy classes, which are typically what we call one-shot instruction, I share with the students that one of the great things about the era that we live in is that we are rich in information. So information is not a problem. We know that we need it. We know that it's everywhere. However, some students, many students, even non-students, need assistance in being able to evaluate the information and to use it effectively. So that is what we tend to do in our one-on-ones during reference appointments, as well as when we do classroom training with your classes. Now, research. Where do I start? So we're going to actually come out of our PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to take you to the Triton College homepage to show you how to get to the library website. So first of all, from the Triton College homepage, if you go to Quick Links, we are the last link at the bottom of Quick Links. We are very hopeful with the upcoming change in our webpage that we will be just as prolific when it changes over. When you get to the Triton College Library homepage, the first thing I always recommend anyone do is to scroll down to where it says log in to library account. And if you log into your library account, all you have to do is remember that your library account word and password is your Triton College email. Why is this important? Because if you are not logged into your library account, you cannot access our databases on or off campus. So you would simply do Triton College students, faculty or staff, accept all cookies if necessary, and then log in with your Triton College account. If you're logged into your Triton College email, then you will go straight into the catalog, and you know that you're there because you will see your name in the top right-hand corner. When you're logged in, that means now you have access to all of our databases. But I'm not going to do a search from the catalog. I want to take you back to the home page. And since we are highlighting and focusing things that would be very useful for faculty and instructors, I want to show you the top bar here, and we'll go straight to where it says faculty. These are some links that we have put together that would be useful for you as faculty. Number one, if you would like to schedule library instruction, you can click on the link here for scheduling, and then I'll show you another place for that as well. We have meeting spaces in the library outside of our study rooms, which are reserved for students, that if you needed to have a meeting, you are welcome to do so and schedule that in the library. But our biggest thing that I wanted to draw your attention to is our course reserve request, which is where you can tell us what your textbook is for the semester. And when you send in a course reserve request, we add it to our list to be able to make a purchase as soon as possible. All you have to do is fill out this form, and you tell us the information about your textbook. Be sure to add in the ISBN number. The second thing is interlibrary loan. Perhaps you're doing research for your courses, or you're doing research for yourself because you are pursuing additional education. and the books that you're looking for are not in the Triton College Library. Outside of iShare, which we share materials with all of the libraries across the state of Illinois, you can also do an interlibrary loan request for articles as well as books that we can then source from outside of that network. And we can go all across the country as well as all across the world to get you what it is you need, whether it be a book or an article. Again, you're filling out a form. You want to include all of these listed, the title, author, publication date, ISBN, journal title, what have you, and we will be happy to source that on your behalf. New resource request. So let's say you have a book that you're assigning for your class and you would love for them all to have access. We invite you to use our new resource request link so that you can tell us to purchase that book on your behalf so that we can have it. And then also we have an OER guide, request for OER help. And we thought it would be really important to give you access right here to the Chronicle of Higher Ed. The Chronicle of Higher Ed is a database that includes all kinds of news and information about what is the latest and greatest about what's going on in higher education. Highly recommend perusing it often to see what the latest news is, and it'll keep you abreast on matters, particularly for your own discipline and across education. Scrolling down, we recently did an update to the library website about 2 semesters ago where we wanted it to look similar to the portal. And that is why we have several cards. The cards listed in red are the Get Help cards. The first one is for students who would like to set up a research appointment. The second one is our programming calendar, which is updated frequently. We have student and technology software support, again, for those who need multi-factor authentication, Blackboard, or email access. And then for you as faculty and instructors, if you would like to schedule library instruction, we have a card for that as well. Each of those cards are hot links that take you to either a form or to a page, such as our programming page, that shows you what is going on in the library. As you might have guessed, we too are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and we have lots of programming available to celebrate for the month. Under the red boxes are the black boxes, which are the resources. And we start with research help, and then I'll point out on the other end, subject guides. Those 2 boxes take you to guides that can help a student or even you as an instructor understand how we help students understand research. And in between and the rest of the guides are the databases. The databases, we'll start with databases by subject because this lists all of our databases that we have access to, are listed in an index. We have chosen to go back to an index listing for databases so that students will become familiar and build their muscle memory in index databasing, because when they transfer to their 4 years and do higher level ed, indexing is how the databases are used in many academic libraries. However, the good news is we do have a free featured database section for databases that we think are for new researchers and new writers and that they can source through easily. I would like to highlight, if we go to N, that we all have access to the New York Times. Now, New York Times, if you really enjoy reading it, you would know that you probably need a subscription in order to get access to the New York Times. You have a free subscription with your Triton College Library. All you have to do is notice here that it says a free digital subscription. To register, you navigate to this very specific link, and then you will use your Triton College email in order to set up. Now, fair warning, I will say that over the last semester, for some reason, our email security has gotten really great. And so when you register for New York Times using this link and you use your triton.edu, your response may go to Barracuda. So all you'll have to do at that point is you'll just put in triton.edu/spam, and it should take you to your Barracuda where you can go and find your New York Times email. And if you've never been in there, you may find a lot of emails that you've missed. So highly recommend checking that off. Now, some things that I hardly ever get a chance to show, but I will take the time to show today because it looks like I am going to be right at 30 minutes, which is great, are some of these other databases that don't get a lot of shine because we don't have the time to go through, but they are extremely useful in all kinds of activities. Number one is Learning Express Prep Step. We ordered this database in collaboration with Adult Education. However, all students and all staff and faculty can use it, and it is a really great learning library that has all types of quick courses that can help students. We have adult core skills, basic computer skills, computer and internet basic, really interesting and really good things that if you need a refresher or if you need an introduction, you can use. It also has career preparation and job career accelerator, as well as prepping for GED, preparing for college, high school students, and the like. It even hosts Spanish resources. So I would highly recommend sharing this with your students if you find that they have a slight deficiency in something or need a refresher or an introduction to a particular type of skill, because this is available and the adult education has generously paid for it, and it is available, I won't say indefinitely, but definitely for a while. I also really love Novelist. Novelist is a database that is hosted by EBSCOhost, and this is really way more for recreational reading, but I like to show it anyway because I want to remind everyone that just because we're an academic library doesn't mean that you cannot use us for your recreational reads. Novelist is basically an online reader's advisory database. So let's say you read a really wonderful book and you enjoyed it and you wanted to read another book similar to that book. So as an example, if you read Gentleman in Moscow and you thought that book was amazing, you really liked Amor Towles, and you wanted to read something similar, one of the cool things you can do is it'll give you read-alikes. What other books are similar to this type of book? Or you can also go into Amor Towles and find out what else has Amor Towles written, and you'll learn about him as well. And then you can also look at something very specific about books that most people tend not to think about. And that is when you're looking at read-alikes and what this book is about, there are certain subjects and certain themes that are tied to books. And when they're tied to those books, if you like the book, this is the type of database that will help you understand how to go find other books that have interesting themes. They're also curating lists where you can go and take a look at all kinds of different books that are available depending on what your needs are. And lastly, I will show you Libby. Libby is a combination of recreational reading as well as academic reading. If you hold a Libby account through your local library, I highly recommend signing us into your account too, because many things that you want from your local library are on hold. We have it ready for you to read. You can hold both on your phone. Libby hosts not only books and ebooks, but it also hosts magazines as well. And because of our partnership with our consortium, NILROC, which that's a long acronym basically for all of the community college libraries, we have a generous supply of anime because that tends to be pretty popular on college campuses. And there you have it. all of these library resources at your disposal and ready for you when you need them. I highly recommend, if you have any questions, you are welcome to go into the About, look at the About the Library tab. It'll tell you more information about us. And then, of course, you're always welcome to come and see us, make an appointment. Those of you who are faculty and adjuncts, please reach out to your faculty librarians. We will be happy to work with you on whatever your needs are for your classes. And if you just have a quick question, you'll notice all while I was doing my presentation on our website, our library chat will pop out. And the library chat, you just do a quick little question and you can ask us anything, and we will try to help find an answer on your behalf. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, my name again is Shekinah Lawrence. I'm one of the faculty librarians, and I will be happy to answer any questions.